Welcome back. All right, so from a very frosty set to all you fine people out there, let us discuss the 7 games from tonight. And then I have to do the preview for tomorrow because we got a matinee game tomorrow. Yeah, on a Thursday. Right. I had forgotten all about it till I looked at tomorrow's schedule and was like, oh, hey, matinee. All right. We're going to start off looking at the New Jersey Devils and the Florida Panthers. These were two teams that really needed a win, and they played like it. This may very well have been the best game of the night. It was Blackwood versus Bobrovsky. Blackwood's first start, I think they said since November 3rd. Good early back and forth. The shots are 3-0 for the Panthers at 3 minutes. So Blackwood's being tested early. Graves crawls to the bench hurt. He exited the game at that point. Did not look good. His knee hit the wall there. Tatar, Heischer, they both had chances saved. And then on a good press, Eric Stahl buries one in close. From Cousins and Lomberg at 4:45, we then had a fight between Howla and Lundell. I didn't see that coming. It's a chippy game. Teams don't like each other. Devils get a power play, and they score on it. Took 5 seconds. It's Bratt from Hughes and Hamilton at 7:01. Reinhardt's then denied. On a 2-on-1, the Panthers would press right after that. Wood scores, but he did so with a high stick, so no goal there. Devils press with 8.5 minutes left. Panthers, they press back with 3 minutes left. Tkachuk's denied on a rush. And this is where they talked about how Graves hadn't returned. And this is a New Jersey team that's already without John Marino. So, we go to the second period with the score tied at 1. Early press by Florida. Siegenthaler then has a near miss wide. Hughes with a net drive, that's saved. And he takes a hit during that too, and he knew he was going to take a hit with that one. Devils get a power play, that's killed off. The shots are 6-4 for Florida at the half. There's a press by the Panthers with 9 minutes left. Hughes has a sharp angle shot that's saved. Lomberg has a chance that deflects out. Power play then for the Panthers. Tkachuk tries a between the legs goal. So just one of those ridiculous moves that Matthew Tkachuk will try, and every now and then they do go in. Things get punchy after a hole by Blackwood. But then just before the power play comes to an end, Luostarinen gets the marker from Bennett and Lundell at 16:12. That is Luostarinen's first career power play goal. Smith's then denied as the Devils try to answer. Dalpe had a breakaway. He was robbed on that. Hamilton has a screenshot that's held. It is 2-1 for Florida after 2 periods. The Devils 1-7 coming into this one when they're trailing after the second period. The Florida Panthers hadn't lost in regulation when they were leading going into the third period. Precedents do happen. So Lomberg's denied and close, but then at 2:44 on a rush, Bratt posting in for him. Hamilton with the assist, so Bratt with his second goal of the game. He's never had a hat trick. Sadly, that continues with this game as well. Devils press for the lead. Hamilton has a shot that's held then as the Panthers are pressuring. And then on a tip in front, Sharon Govich gets his first in a while from Siegenthaler and McLeod at 10 minutes and 10 seconds. The Devils press for another. Florida would pull the goaltender with 2:20 left. Heischer beat out an icing. And then when Florida's trying to clear their zone, Tatar gets it, puts it in the empty net at 19:20. With that empty netter in and Heischer on the ice, Tkachuk, remembering Heischer from the last game, decides he's going to try to take Heischer out. The Devils end up getting a power play, but in the end it's 4-2 in favor of the New Jersey Devils. They win. They go to 22-9-2 with that victory. Florida drops to a frustratingly low 15-15-4. So they continue to trend in the wrong direction. The shots in this one, 12-8 Florida in the first, 15-14 New Jersey in the second, 10 apiece in the third. Final shots are 36-33 for the Panthers. Power plays, New Jersey 1 for 3, Florida 1 for 1. The hits were 18-16 for Florida. Blackwood saves 34 out of 36, and Bobrovsky saves 29 out of 32 at the other end of the ice. Accidentally kicked the cat by going right by my feet there. So you look down, you look for the cat, and accidentally, and then she's over there. All right, so for New Jersey, we'll see if this is the start of another streak in the positive direction. A lot of losses, and all of a sudden all this talk about maybe they won't make the playoffs. I haven't said that because I think it's a little bit early to have that discussion. All right, next up, and I don't think they're going to miss either. Tampa Bay in against Detroit. It's been a rough 24 hours for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Coming off of a loss in Toronto and this game in Detroit, there's going to be some reflection after this one, I would think. So it's Elliott versus Husso. And at 129, point scores from Kucherov and Chernak. It's posted in, and the Bolts look for more. They get off to a very good start. They get a power play. That becomes a 5-on-3. Stamkos with the net drive. That's held, and then he's denied again on his next chance. That power play's killed off, but 5.5 minutes in, the shots are 11-0 for Tampa. So this looks like how the last game between Detroit and Tampa came to an end, right? And it's like, all right, well, Tampa's not going to let themselves lose twice in 24 hours, but we would go on. So the Wings press, that draws them a power play. That was killed off, but managed 5 shots during that. So Detroit showing some fight back there. Colton has a rush chance that's saved. That was after Kubalik had a wraparound. That was saved as well. Cirelli and Paul both currently out for Tampa. They would both return. A little banged up, though. Near miss for Sherrod as the Wings press. Heavy pressure by the Wings. Eventually it goes in. It's Mata from Suter at 15:39. It's a one-timer, and it's Mata's first goal in 19 games. Rasmussen's then denied on a fast break. However, at 18:38, on a rebound, Killorn puts Tampa Bay back in the lead. Colton and Perbix with the assist there. So it's a 2-1 Tampa lead. Detroit fights back. A lot of fight back tonight from them. Rasmussen from Sherratt and Sundqvist at 19:32. Rasmussen continues his evolution into a pretty darn good forward. That ties it up. It was a tip. And then we get offsetting penalties at the horn. So we go to the second period. They show Cirelli on the bench for Tampa Bay. Good news there. You don't want Cirelli to miss any time. Maroon has a wraparound. That's held. Paul, Stamkos, neither of them can bury as the Bolts press. So you see you got Paul back in the game there. Bolts press, that draws them a power play. That was killed off. The shots at the half are 7-4 in favor of Tampa. There's a near miss for Soderblom from the slot. And then Larkin wires one top shelf. Fantastic goal from Perron and Rasmussen at 11:08. At 13:15, Colton answers for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and this is a goal that Ernie just handed him the puck. So Adam Ernie, not his proudest moment. It happens. I would say that the result means not a big deal for Ernie, but you got to watch that. Wings get a power play. That's killed off, and after the second period, the score's tied at 3. So we go to the third period. Bolts start with a full power play. So there's a penalty called right at the 20-minute mark. So you get a full power play. Detroit comes up with a kill. That's huge. And then Elliott with a giveaway, and it ends up in his net. Soderblom with the goal from Veleno at 3:48. They have a very good record when Soderblom plays. I would recommend keeping him in the lineup. That's just me. Shots are 3-2 for the Bolts at 5 minutes. Cirelli then had a rush chance that's blocked. And then from a sharp angle, one that Elliott probably needs to save, but Larkin gets the goal at 9:46. So all of a sudden, it's 5-3 in favor of Detroit. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Kucherov's robbed to get some pushing after that. Colton then had a rush chance that was held. And then Kucherov, one that just sneaks through on Husso. He scores from Hedman and Stamkos at 16:13. So they pull the goaltender, and that's where Detroit does more damage. First, it's Perron from Larkin at 17:27. And then with the goalie pulled again, Rasmussen hits the empty net from Perron at 18:59. That is 7 goals for the Detroit Red Wings. They win this one 7-4. They go to 14-11-7 with the win they desperately needed. Tampa Bay got to be frustrated with the back-to-back losses. They're 20-11-1. Shots 17-15 Tampa in the first, 11-8 Tampa in the second, 10-8 Tampa in the third. They outshoot them 38-31. Power plays, Tampa Bay 0-4. Big part of the story there. Detroit 0-2. The hits were 18-17 for Detroit. Elliott 24 saves on 29 shots. Husso 34 saves on 38 shots. So entertaining game, the highest scoring game of the night, and yeah, Detroit gets the win. So good for them, and we'll see how they go into the break and whether they go into the break continuing to win or not. I assume they'll have a game on Friday. That's pretty standard. I think there's 12 games on Friday, so Detroit probably plays Friday. All right, Montreal. The Montreal Canadiens in against the Colorado Avalanche. This is close, and honestly, I think while they've got some high talented players out, with the high talent out of the lineup, I think this is how Colorado's going to have to keep winning games. Just gut it out. Just gut it out. Points are points in the standings, right? So it was Allen versus Georgiev in this one. There's a crossbar for Rodriguez early, and then Richard scores for Montreal from Evans and Armia at 1:48. It's his first NHL goal, and they talked about it during the game. He's the first guy with the last name Richard to play for this team since the Pocket Rocket. So Maurice and Henri Richard are the only Richards that have ever played for Montreal until Anthony Richard. So you've got the Rocket. What I left, I was going to say, you got the Rocket, the Pocket Rocket, and Anthony. So no nickname for him yet. I think it's a little early to be giving him any kind of Rocket nickname. But I don't understand why he wasn't a Montreal Canadian the whole way through. It just works. The name Richard on the back of a Montreal jersey just works. So He wired that one on the first break, and that was the first shot as well for Montreal, and it's his first NHL goal. That's how you do it. The Habs pressed at 4 minutes, but they're kept to the outside. The shots are 4-3 in favor of Montreal at 6.5 minutes. Armia can't bury one on a net drive. The Avs press. They're kept to the outside as well. Both defenses played well tonight. Allen holds with Nichushkin on the doorstep. Johnson had a wraparound chance. That was held. Makar with a shot that saved. It's all Avs with 5.5 minutes left. They just can't quite get the tying goal. Then there was a post for Doc on a net drive. The Habs press after that. The Avs get pinned down with Newhook minus a stick, but they would clear it out. And then to close out the period, the Habs with some more pressure. So really good road period for Montreal. They come out of that with a 1-0 lead. Second period, early press by Montreal. Doc had a rush chance. That was saved. The Habs press after that. Rodriguez is denied. The Habs cleared out. The shots are 7-3 in favor of Colorado at 7.5 minutes. The Avs press at 9.5 minutes. Dodonov fires one wide on a rush. Nichushkin hits the outside of the net on his opportunity, and then with 1:44 left, the Avs get a power play. So that rolls into the third period. The Habs do finish the kill there. Caulfield then has a chance to deflect wide, but then the Avs go back to the power play. And even though you don't have McKinnon and you don't have Landeskog, this is still can be a dangerous power play, especially when you have a guy you traded at the deadline last year who scores the power play marker. Yeah, it's Lehkonen. On a face-off win, they set it up. They get the goal right away. Rantanen and Makar with the assists at 2:16. Rantanen continues to be a fantastic leader for this team while some really good guys are out of the lineup. Lehkonen then had a rush chance that was held and saved because he's, trying for another. Then there's a press for the Abs at 5 minutes. The Habs get pinned down during that. Caulfield fans on a rush chance. The shots are 4-1 in favor of Colorado at 8 minutes. They're playing very well in this one. The Habs get a power play. That was killed off. No shots from Montreal in their power play. Montreal was stuck at one shot for a while in that period. Colorado really locking things down. The Habs press with 2 minutes left. Hoffman has a shot. That's held onto. Rantanen then had a shot that was blocked when Colorado gets a 3-on-2 in the final minute. So we're going to overtime. In the overtime, the Avs controlled early. Makar can't bury one on a net drive. Gooley then steals a puck. Drouin was robbed on a net drive. The puck goes the other way. It's in the net. It's Rantanen from Taves at 1:51. Colorado avoids the dreaded trap game. They win 2-1 in overtime. They go to 18-11-2 on the season. For the Montreal Canadiens, they're 15-15-3 with the overtime loss. The shots in this one, 12 apiece in the first, 14-4 Colorado in the second, 9-3 Colorado in the third. Both teams had one shot in the overtime, Colorado's being the one that matters. Final shots, 36-20 for Colorado. Power plays, Montreal 0 for 1, Colorado 1 for 2. Hits, 26-24 Colorado. Allen saves 34 out of 36. Great game for Jake Allen. And Georgiev, not too shabby himself, saving 19 out of 20. So, that being said, moving along. Nashville in against Chicago. So the misery for Chicago continues. This is just, it's been a rough season for Chicago, and it's just, it doesn't seem like there's an end to it right now. So Saros versus Mrazek, like the ratings have to be low in the Chicago market for these games, don't they? Anyways, early jump for Nashville. The shots are 5-1 in their favor at 3 minutes, which doesn't bode well, of course, for Chicago. Post for Duchesne on a rush, but then on a next rush opportunity, Niederreiter wires it from glass at 9:23. Hawks look to answer. They get a 4-minute power play as well. Strong penalty kill, though, by Nashville. The Hawks really don't set up. They don't get much. That's killed off. I was surprised the whole 4 minutes went as quickly as it did. Really solid penalty kill by Nashville there. Then there's a press by Nashville with 5.5 minutes left. Domi is then denied from the slot for Chicago. Good back and forth closes it out. It's 1-0 Nashville after one. Second period. Early press by Nashville. Saros wins a race with Kurashev. And that's the important thing is to have that speed to win those races. Hawks get a power play. Preds don't let them set up. Kill it off. So Nashville's penalty kill absolutely on point in this one. Shots are 6-4 for the Preds with 9 minutes left. Jeannot nearly buries one, but of course nearly and almost don't really work for anything. Lauzon has a blast that's held. Kane then had a rush chance that was saved. Trennan fires one wide on a break. And then there's a post for Kane. The Hawks get a brief press, and Murphy has one that deflects in. He gets the goal from Kachuk and Domi at 16:03. And then 37 seconds later, Entwistle scores from Murphy. And so all of a sudden it's 2-1 for the Hawks. And then they almost add another. So it looks like this is going in the wrong direction if you're Nashville. However, Before the period's out at 19:55 from a sharp angle, Duchesne gets one. The assist to Ekholm and Carrier. Carrier's first assist of the season. And so after 2 periods, it's 2-2. Third period, Yossi gets one early from McDonough and Parsonen at 1:27. Granlund then nearly gets one as Nashville's got the momentum in their favor. Kane was denied on a fast break. The shots are 6-5 for Nashville at 5.5 minutes. Preds get a power play and they score on it really quickly. 6 seconds in, it's Novak from Yossi and Parsonen at 6:09. So with that assist, Roman Yossi is now the all-time leading points getter for the Nashville Predators. It's a low total compared to other teams, but hey, they've only been in the league for about 25 years. So nice to see Yossi at the top of that mountain. Hawks get a power play. There's a near miss for Domi. Good cycle there. Sissons clears it out. That's killed off. The Preds then rush. Radish was denied on a rush opportunity of his own. 7 minutes and 40 seconds left. Nashville gets a power play, which of course is tough for Chicago. They kill it off, but there's 2 more minutes off the clock. Saros with some saves to close it as the goaltender got pulled with 1:25 left. They would have pulled him sooner, but Nashville had the puck in that zone and made sure the goalie didn't get out with about 2 minutes left when Chicago wanted to get him out. So your final score is 4-2 for the Nashville Predators. They go to 14-13-4 with the win. Chicago 7-20-4 with the loss. It's just been misery after misery for Chicago. They're now, I think it's 1-15-1 in their last 17. It's been rough. Shots 10-8 Chicago in the first, 13 apiece in the second. Both teams had 16 shots in the third. Chicago outshoots them 39-37. Power plays 1 for 2 for Nashville, 0 for 4 for Chicago. Hits 27-20 for Chicago. Saros is a big story here. 37 saves on 39 shots. Mrazek saves 33 out of 37. So I need to change boards. So, the Edmonton Oilers in against the Dallas Stars, and when I do a video on how a team is doing well, they generally lose the next game. When I do a video on a team that's having its struggles, they win their next game usually. Not always, but there's that theory that once I've done a video on it, things can turn around for the better or for the worse. So it's Skinner versus Ottinger in this one. Good early back and forth in it. Good energy to start things up. Ottinger with a turnover, but Dallas clears it out. Robertson has a tip shot that's held. Robertson continues to have struggles with getting the goals right now. The shots are 3 apiece at 6.5 minutes. Hintz has a rush chance that's defended by Ceci. McDavid then had a net feed that's cleared out. The Oilers press at the half. The Stars, they press back with 8 minutes left. Glendening flattens Nurse. Nurse took a license plate on that one. And then Hintz opens the scoring from Robertson and Pavelski at 14:49. Not the first time those 3 guys have combined on a goal. It's a one-timer on a rush. Good luck, Skinner, on that one. And then it's Janmark that answers at 15:55 from Costin and Bouchard. So guys you need to get points from, and they get it. And it's one storyline with the Oilers tonight. They get that depth scoring. So the Oilers press for the lead with 2:15 left. There's 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Johnston's denied and close. Nurse with a turnover, and then he takes it back from Pavelski. So he commits the turnover, and then he comes back and makes a nice defensive play before Pavelski can get one on the net. So after 1 period, it's 1-1. Second period, Wyatt Johnston scores from Marchment and Ben at 27 seconds. Wires it on a rush. So 2 rush opportunity goals there. So that's a problem for the Oilers in this one, I guess. But in the end, not worried about that. The Oilers press. That draws them a power play, and they score on it. It's Hyman from Barrie at 2:36. The Stars then get a power play. There's a post for Ben. Yamamoto clears it out. And they kill that off. Shots are 6-3 for Dallas with 8 minutes. At 8 minutes, I should say. And then at 8:18, Nugent-Hopkins scores from Janmark. So all of a sudden, the Oilers have their first lead of the night. The Stars press at the half with 3:24 left. The Stars get a power play. Robertson has a tipped shot that's held. And then Sagan gets the power play marker from Marchment and Lundqvist at 17:56. Marchment had a very good game tonight, and the Stars tie it up there. That was tipped on a face-off win as well. The Oilers press for a response, but we go to the third period with the score tied at 3. Early power play for the Stars. There was a crossbar for Marchment. That's killed off. The Oilers then draw a power play. That becomes a 4-on-4. Pavelski has a shot that's saved. Everything's killed off there. The shots are 3-1 for Dallas at 9.5 minutes. And this is where they mentioned McDavid doesn't have a shot yet. And all I could think was, so he's due then. Fogle, and I put that right there, so he's due. Fogle scores from Draisaitl on a turnover at 11:46. And then on a rush, it's Connor McDavid. He scores at 16-17, so that's his 29th of the season. He's the leading goal scorer in the NHL. And then they pull the goaltender, which allows Janmark to hit the empty net with his second goal of the game from Nugent Hopkins, who continues to put up a remarkable amount of points at 16:49. The Oilers hitting everything they need to turn around the struggles they've had lately. They get the win 6-3 in Dallas. They go to 18-14-2 with the win. Dallas 19-9-6 with the loss. I have concerns as a Dallas fan. Shots in this one, 13-11 Edmonton in the first, 13-11 Edmonton in the second, 9-6 Edmonton in the third. Final shots, 35-28 for the Oilers. Power plays, Edmonton 1 for 2, Dallas 1 for 4. Hits were 28-22 for Edmonton. Skinner saves 25 out of 28. Ottinger saves 29 out of 34. So Edmonton, great road game by them tonight. Solid game plan. They outshoot Dallas the whole way through. And so for Dallas, they'll look to bounce back next game. The Oilers are going to look to maybe get things rolling here. All right, next up. Arizona in against Vegas. And it looked like Arizona had a chance until they didn't. It's Vejmelka versus Thompson. Vegas wearing those gold helmets. If you're going to wear gold helmets, you wear them with the gold jerseys. It looks weird with the gray jerseys. It's always looked weird. It's weird. And they wore the gray jerseys earlier this season with the matching helmets. It's just one of those things. It's bizarre. So early jump for Vegas. The shots are 3-0 in their favor 4 minutes into it. There's a press by the Golden Knights at 7 minutes. Chychrun then gets rattled blocking a shot. He'd stay in the game. Stone's denied in close on a turnover. Stone was denied a lot until he wasn't. Pressed by Vegas with 8 minutes left. There's a power play for the Golden Knights. It's killed off. Manages 4 shots. So Vejmelka's busy at this stage. And there was a press by Vegas after it ended. So Vejmelka's busyness wasn't over. Coyotes not getting any sustained pressure. And after the first period, they're outshot badly. Outchanced badly. But it's scoreless. Second period. Ritchie, net drive, that's held. There's too many Coyotes on the ice. So Vegas gets a power play and they score on it. It's Miromanov, who's been pretty good for Vegas lately. From Carlson and Kessel at 3:28, the Coyotes get zone time. Can't get to the net until one's banked in off Thompson. Valimaki does it, coming out from behind the net. From Fisher and Ritchie at 4:47. So that ties the game up at 1. Vegas presses for an answer. The shots are 4-3 in favor of the home team at 9 minutes. The Coyotes, though, have some momentum. Keller has a pass that's picked off on a 2-on-1. Pressed by Vegas with 7 minutes left. Schmaltz then had a rush chance. That's kicked aside by Thompson. Coyotes pressed with 3.5 minutes left. Ritchie couldn't bury one. Coyotes are actually in control at this point in the game. Kessel has a rush chance that's held versus his former team. Pressed by the Coyotes in the final minute, but we're going to the third period with the score tied at 1. Gostisbehere has a blast that's kicked aside in the third period. Stone then fires one high on a rush, so again, he's still snakebit at this point. Keller, banged up, takes an elbow to the nose, draws blood, so that's 4 minutes. No, because it's not a stick, and because he elbowed him in the face to cause that, it's 2. I do not understand the National Hockey League's rules about this. If drawing blood means a 4-minute penalty when it's with a stick, why wouldn't it mean an extra 2 minutes with an elbow to the face? Because NHL, sure. And I'm sure there are new fans to the game that would scratch their head about that as well. Because once you see it's, oh, he didn't hit him in the face with his stick, he elbowed him. Those elbow pads hurt. Anyways, there's 2 minutes for this. So there's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Post for Stevenson there. Krause then has a shot that's blocked from the slot. That power play's killed off. Vegas then gets a power play. Stone can't bury one in close. Roy has a chance that's held. It's killed off. 3 shots. But Clayton Keller, who had already been in the box, he goes back to the box. And so it's a power play again for Vegas. You can't do this often. And Stone scores on the power play from Pietrangelo and Marchessault at 8:56. And then on a 3-on-1 rush, Carrier hits the 10-goal mark for the first time in his career. He scores from Stevenson and Stone at 9:50. I guess Vegas watched my video yesterday and said, oh, we got to get some points at home. So that was buried on a 3-on-1 rush. And then Fisher at 11:43 buries a rebound. Boyd and Schmaltz with the assists on that one. Coyotes then get a power play, so this is their chance. They're down by 1, which leads to a shorthanded goal by Mark Stone. Stevenson with the assist at 12:34. Rebound buried. And honestly, it was a huge save by Vejmelka initially, but then Stone has an open net to bury it. Vegas finishes the kill, and then at 17:20, because why not, Amadio adds the 5th goal from Smith and Haig, and he tipped that one in front. So your final score is 5-2 for Vegas. They go to 23-11-1 with the win. They even up their home record at 9-9. And for Arizona, they're 10, 16, and 5. They had openings. They might have been able to get this, but Vegas shuts it down. Shots in this one, 13-4 Vegas in the first, 10-8 Vegas in the second. Both teams had 11 shots in the third. Final shots, 34-23 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Power plays really do make a difference tonight. 0 for 2 for Arizona, 2 for 4 for Vegas. Hits, 27-17 Arizona. Vejmelka saves 29 out of 34. Thompson saves 20 out of 22. Decent game by Thompson. And again, Vegas needed this game. So while it's Arizona and it's faint praise and all that, Vegas does stop the bleeding at home. They get this victory. We'll see if they can build on it. All right, last game of the night. Minnesota in against Anaheim. So Anaheim had, those victories, the couple in a row there. Looked pretty good. Well, that's kind of over. It's Fleury versus Dostal in this one. And again, Lucas Dostal showing in this game he's going to be a very good goaltender in the National Hockey League. Early press by the Wild. Kirkland then had a shot that deflects out. And when I see Kirkland, I think of the Kirkland brand's Meeseeks from Rick and Morty, and I can't get it out of my head. And just Kirkland brand in general, it's just, I'm like, there's jokes there, and I'm not going to make them because it just doesn't seem right, because Kirkland seems like a decent player. But there are some jokes there to be made. I wouldn't be surprised if they're out there. Goudreau's denied as the Wild press, basically that Kirkland is the name brand for Costco, and if you have to explain it that much. Anyways, Goudreau's denied as the Wild press. The shots are 3-1 in favor of the road team at 6.5 minutes in this one. Wild are getting plenty of zone time too, and so Anaheim not getting the puck out often enough, and Dostal really getting some prime opportunities. Not a lot of shots for Minnesota in the first period, considering how much zone time they had, but they were good shots. So Steele has a net feed that's intercepted. There's some punching and sticking going on behind the Ducks net after a whistle. The Wild get a power play that's killed off. It's scoreless after one. Second period. Terry's denied on a 3-on-2. Goudreau then had a net feed that's intercepted. Things get pushy after a hold by Fleury. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4, and during the 4-on-4, McTavish buries one on a break at 5:48. It's 1-0 for Anaheim. And so, Anaheim's got the goal. You need some momentum. You need that second goal. The Wild were 5-9 coming into this one when they allowed the first goal. Big difference between when they allow the first as to when they score the first. Terry has a wraparound that saved. The shots are 6-3 for the Ducks at 8.5 minutes. They're having a good game. Kulikov's denied. The Ducks draw a power play. Things get punchy as the call's being made. We then get 4-on-4 after that. The Wild have a power play. Everything gets killed off. And then Dewar. It's a screenshot, and it's kind of out of nowhere. He just turns and wires it from Reeves and Shaw at 16:03. And it's a goal like that was going to beat Dostal first, right? So 3:22 left. The Wild go back to the power play, and they were definitely getting too many power play opportunities in this. Eriksson X denied and close. That's killed off. And then with 56.6 seconds left, the Wild go back to the power play again. So that rolls over into the third period. The Ducks shot block. They clear it out. They do kill that off. Near miss then for Zegras. The shots are 4-2 for the Wild at 4.5 minutes, and Boldy buries one at 4:46. Ducks would try to answer. The Wild get a power play. Near miss by Boldy, but they cycle it, and eventually they get that power play goal. It is Eriksson Ek on the power play from Addison and Boldy at 8:54. Boldy then has a blast that's held, and that's when the Wild get another power play, because why not give them another one? There's so many power plays for the Wild tonight. So they get another power play. Boldy's blast held. That's killed off. Foligno's denied from the slot. Eventually they pull the goaltender. That allows Hartman to hit the empty net from Boldy and Goudreau at 18 minutes and 12 seconds. So Boldy had 3 points in that third period. Not too shabby. 22.5 seconds left. The Ducks get a power play. That just rolls to the end of the clock, right? And your final score is 4-1 in favor of Minnesota. They go to 19-11-2 with the win. That's their 6th win in a row. For Anaheim, they're 9-22-3 with the loss. Another rough loss for them. The shots favor Minnesota the whole way. 9-4 in the first, 14-12 in the second, and then 19-6 in the third, which happens when almost the whole period it feels like Minnesota has a power play. Final shots are 42-22 for Minnesota. Power plays 1 for 6 for Minnesota, 0 for 2 for Anaheim. Hits 16-15 for the Ducks. Fleury saves 21 out of 22. Dostal saves 38 out of 41. And there you go. Minnesota now with a 6-game winning streak, And we'll see if they can run that one up to 7 tomorrow when they're in against San Jose. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.